Are we witnessing the beginning of the end of the largest wholesale gold market in China? We'll answer that question and discuss the major concerns about gold in that part of the world in this video as we explore. Several members of the community have reached out to point me to a video from China Observer about a big deal, about a crashing of the wholesale gold market in the region of Hubei, which is the largest in the area in China. And of course, when that comes out as news, well, it's a big deal because of how important gold is in China, not only for the nation, but also for the people of the nation. But in reality, there's been a lot of trouble there for quite some time. We're going to get into what the accusations are and how true they are here in a moment. But before we get there, let's talk about American gold. And this is a little 2014 10th ounce gold eagle that I recently took out of a big case that I got. Some of you may remember I took advantage of a one-time loss leader spot deal. In fact, just under spot for these 10th ounce gold eagles. But the case is very large and laborious, and this thing is massive. So I'm going to break all these out here and spread them across here. I'm going to spread a little bit of the American gold love upon this other gold here. But not only that, there's 10 of these from 2014, which I actually hope to replace someday with 2025s because I kind of like that eagle on the reverse. It's very difficult to see the family of eagles on these 10th ounce size pieces. So I'm going to replace them. But, before I do that, I'm going to put them in their new home. That's right. Summit Metals has their new revised wallets here. And these wallets, people, were complaining because they only held 8 of them. That's right. And it's a legitimate complaint. But I honestly don't see how they could do it. But they did it. They actually found the way to fit 10 in there now. And so we're going to fit the 10 in here. We're going to take a look at these and put them together here. A little bit of American gold inside of this wallet here. So there's one. And as I do this, let's talk a little bit about what's going on in China. Well, China is the largest producer of gold in the world, Russia being a close second. That means those nations are powerful in so much as far as their gold holdings are concerned. You know what they say, who holds the gold makes the rules. And some theorize that China could have well above of what we have here in the United States. Now, as to whether that's the case or not, I don't know. I'll let you speculate about that. The rumor mill is ablaze in China, not only in terms of what's their gold holdings, but in terms of the health of the economy there in general, and the gold market in specifically. So, what is this China Observer saying? Well, it's saying that China is the largest gold region, Hubei, has essentially all but collapsed. It has crashed and to a collapse. But the problem is that even within that same video, almost immediately after making those accusations, they say in that video that media reports say that it's largely exaggerated, and which means that likely they could be exaggerating the news as well too for clicks and views. And understand we need to be careful. I obviously, there's such a thing as click friendly, and there's such a thing as clickbait. And I think that's kind of what they had engaged in there, where it's largely untrue. It has not crashed. But watching the video, there are problems. And taking what they say in the video as potential truth to some extent, and not exaggeration, there are some problems in the Chinese gold market in general, and specifically with this region here. So reports that started circulating around mid-September indicated that China's largest gold wholesale market, which is located in Hubei, Shenzhen, experienced a significant disruption, large disruption of gold. Like this gold here has been disrupted by me moving things around here. I'm going to put it back in place here. But this event has been characterized by social media reports of panic, multiple dealers allegedly fleeing, and concerns about potential fraud, although official sources have yet to confirm a crash in the broader Chinese gold market. But remember, too, that a lot of this stuff has been going on for a while. Just some of these reports that have been circulating in mid-September upon this, mostly centered around this video, which reports other activity that has been ongoing or has been already occurred. So there's been some trouble, and I've talked about that trouble in prior videos, and even then addressing specifically a China Observer. Now, social media posts from September 2025 first alerted the public to the events unfolding in the Shanghai gold wholesale market, which is a hub for gold suppliers and investors. There's been some panic and some fleeing dealers. We know that's occurred, but that does not constitute a crash. Posts from Tech Junkie and Bob Coleman, among others, the Shanghai market was in chaos as dozens of gold dealers reportedly fled, raising alarms about potential market instability and illicit activity. But that's just around some of those dealers. And not only about that, but it's about fraud and scam. The reports were accompanied by concerns over the sale of counterfeit gold bars, potentially containing tungsten, sold through some Chinese banks. However, it is unclear if the specific fraud is directly related to the events in Shanghai. And that is another thing, too. They're conflating a couple of different events here. Now, obviously, since Shanghai is the largest wholesaler, that lends credence to this idea that a lot of this activity would occur in that region because it's so popular for gold trade. And people have been complaining about getting fake gold bars and the like, and it's been happening for quite some time. And that's famous in China. China is known for fakes. A lot of those fakes also make their way across here to the United States. Intellectual property being stolen, and in other areas too. Gold is not immune there. So recent reports from the World Gold Council indicate that China's gold market has been volatile, and has been, in other words, past tense. This is nothing really new here. And just new reports coming out. And, I've talked about this several times on my channel where some stores will recirculate that are 2-3 years old. And I either cover them again, not realizing, or I search and find out that, this has already been talked about with no new developments. Just a recirculation of the same stories. And some of this, I think, is in part related to that. But they have not crashed. They're just volatile. Several factors have influenced demand and investment behavior throughout this year. We have shifts in investments. In August of 2025, many investors shifted away from gold and towards rallying equities. And the CSI 300 stock index jumped 10% that month. This led to a significant outflow of gold-backed ETFs in China. Then we saw decreased wholesale demand. And they did talk about this in the China Observer video too, which I think is noteworthy. Wholesale gold demand in China fell in August of 2025, hitting its weakest level that month since 2010. Demand for gold bars and coins was subdued due to high prices and competition from the stock market. Exactly. And that is one of the things we're seeing. People can't afford to buy as much gold these days. Could that mean a shift into silver? I think it very well could, which is something we're going to be watching, much as I've talked about in the past in China and especially India importing a lot of silver. And that very well could continue, and that's going to bolster silver's price. So, and many times the gold market can help gauge what's going to happen with the silver market in areas where there's a high density and high population, such as the case in China and India. Now, we know about central bank activity in the region. Private investment has weakened. The People's Bank of China has consistently added to its gold reserves, buying for 10 consecutive months as of August 2025. Now, here's another thing, too, we have to think about with regards to this, and I touched on it earlier, and that is price fatigue. That's right. Gold's rapid price appreciation throughout last year and this year has created price fatigue among Chinese investors, deterring new purchases among despite some of the strong prices. And where also some of these dealers, they can't get rid of their gold. They can't sell it. And so they're left selling it for as low as 3% under spot, according to China Observer. So that is quite interesting indeed. Now, who knows where gold price is going to be by the time you watch this video, but more than likely it's still going to be around an all-time high. It's certainly above 36, maybe just below it. Who knows? We might see a correction in the market. We're going to find out. We're going to see what happens there. But nonetheless, this channel is very close. If it's not already surpassed 100,000 subscribers by the time you watch, stay tuned if that's the case. And if not, I hope you will consider subscribing to the channel. I don't want you just to subscribe to get 100,000 subscribers, by the way. I covet your time and viewership on this channel. Your time is valuable, and it means a lot to me that you take the time to watch. In other words, I would prefer you not subscribed if you're just going to help tick the number up and never watch the videos. I do like to give you information, news, analysis, and opinion on this channel. That's what I have been doing for almost 13 years. And so, with that being said, I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch, and to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.